Social engineering is actually one of the most interesting, one of the least technical, but one of the most powerful techniques that attackers use out in the modern world in order to gain access to systems and data that they shouldn't have access to. And this is because it does not actually rely on any one vulnerable server system that can be patched or something that can be upgraded. What they rely on is what we call human exploits or conning. And what this means is, if you think about the old term confidence game or a scam or a fraud, that's exactly what's going on here. They're relying on exploiting the human operating system, the human software. And when we say human software, we're talking about just how people interact with each other in a society. And there are certain things that we extend as a courtesy to each other. And when somebody has bad intentions, they can take advantage of that, or they can take advantage of our natural inclination to do a nice thing or to return a favor in a particular way, or to provide some information without meaning to, like, for example, bragging about something, or just offering an anecdote in exchange for an anecdote. Or even if you think about, suppose a proud grandma talking about her grandkids to somebody who's an attacker, and they figure out that she's probably using the names of her grandkids as her password. Or if you find out too much information about someone that you're on the train with, and then you see them log in and use their password on a mobile banking app, and you know enough about them that you can answer security questions. This is all part of social engineering, and it does not involve any specific technology or using specific technology. And one of the things that is the most powerful technique is phishing. And this is usually something that involves email. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard this term by now, and it comes from the idea of, casting out a net or casting out a line, and phishing for information, where you send a fraudulent email which has a call to action, or just has some sort of a interesting topic that you want to reply to, or click a link in, or download the attachment from. And it's because of how it was worded to play to your biases or to play to your expectations. And it's laid your suspicions at rest. And now you are falling for the phishing attack, because now that's just the first step in getting information that can be used to access other things that are important to you or to your employer. And there's also something called spear phishing, which is just the same thing but more specific, where somebody has done some additional social engineering work. Social engineering being just, gathering information through non-technical means, through social means, whether it's conversations or looking at social media, or just constructing narratives about people based on common social expectations, and then use that information in order to send a even more credible phishing attack to one specific individual or a group of specific individuals. Suppose if somebody knows that you have a particular hobby and they know you live in a particular town, it might seem like that's a more trustworthy message that you're getting on your phone or in your email. So you might be more likely to click on whatever URLs in there, especially if it's made to look like something legitimate. And then there's something called baiting, which is where, suppose there's a free USB drive, flash drive lying on the ground or somewhere in the office on a table, and you connect it without thinking much about it because, hey, it's free. It might be something funny looking or something that appeals to you for some reason, and somebody left it there because there's malicious code on it that will execute and attack your system and then the network. And it just seemed like something harmless, and that's where the term bait comes from. And then there's something which is pretty big right now at this moment in time, and it's actually a pretty big menace, and security professionals in the cybersecurity field are taking active measures against it, and it's called SIM swapping. And SIM swapping is something that is done by contacting customer support and using social engineering on them, where an attacker essentially calls in and wants to port over their number to a new SIM. And the purpose of this is to essentially hijack a phone number. And hijacking the phone number, it yields results because if you think about all the different kind of banking, financial, and other type of applications or websites that want to send you a SMS or a text message code, which you then need to enter, and they want you to do that so that there is a second factor of authentication beyond just your username and password. And that is a compromisable channel, and people are realizing that more and more, where if you are not the only person who has access to text messages coming in on that phone number, or not the only person who's getting calls on that phone number, now somebody else has access to those codes as well. And they might hijack the SIM from you without ever physically meeting you or seeing you, just by compromising the support system that allows the portability of a phone number from one network to another. And there's also the physical act of tailgating, and tailgating is just exactly what it sounds like, where you walk behind someone real close and they won't be rude enough to close a door in your face, even though they really should be, because some doors might be authorized employees only, special personnel only. And by not thoroughly checking whether you belong there or not and letting you in, they're allowing you to gain access purely through the simple human desire to be nice or to be courteous or not looking like a bad person by slamming a door in your face or being too suspicious. And that's why we need to talk about changes to security culture.